Hello, and thank you for listening to this episode of Moore's October Rants. Today's episode is titled, Mistakes Happen, Grow Up. Recently, I was hanging out with a friend, and one of us made a mistake. We corrected it, and it sparked an interesting conversation about how people react to mistakes. My friend was frustrated by it, but the funny thing is, when they've made mistakes in the past, they've expected it to be brushed off as no big deal. It made me realize how often people get upset with others for making mistakes, yet when they mess up themselves, they want it to be forgiven and forgotten instantly. It's a weird double standard, right? We say everyone makes mistakes, but when someone else slips up, we can be quick to judge or lash out. It's like that understanding only applies to ourselves, not to others. Why is that? It's a strange, hypocritical aspect of human nature, and I really don't understand why we do it. If you truly believe that mistakes happen, then you should be able to accept them, whether they come from you or someone else. When I was growing up, my parents used to overreact when my siblings or I made mistakes. But when they made mistakes, it was no big deal. And that's how it goes, right? Parents have this tendency to hold their kids to higher standards than themselves, as if they're immune to error. Let me give you an example. I remember one time as a teenager, my dad and I were driving to get food. It was dark, and we took a wrong turn. While trying to back out and turn around, he accidentally drove the car into a ditch, and we got stuck. Luckily, a neighbor saw us, came over with their truck and chains, and pulled us out. We were fine, and we went on our way. The whole time my dad kept saying, "Everyone makes mistakes. It happens." He was calm about it. But here's the thing. I know that if I had been the one driving, he would have reacted differently. If I had made that same mistake, he probably would have been upset, given me a hard time, or even yelled at me. It's the nature of parents, I guess, to have that double standard. But it also shows just how deeply rooted this hypocrisy is. And that's what today's episode is really about. How we can be so quick to excuse our own mistakes, but not those of others. It's a sign of immaturity. The title of this rant, Mistakes Happen, Grow Up, reflects that a lot of people need to grow up when it comes to handling mistakes. If you're the type of person who can't accept responsibility for your actions, but you hold others to impossible standards, you're acting like a child. A child doesn't take responsibility. A child blames others. And that's exactly what too many people do when mistakes happen. Personally, I always try to take responsibility when I make a mistake. I never shift the blame to someone else. But it's frustrating to watch others do that, to blame others for their own mistakes, and then wonder why nothing ever improves. If you're not owning up to your actions, how can you expect anything to change? So here's my advice. Try to understand that mistakes happen to everyone. No one is perfect. Stop being so quick to judge others when they mess up, because you're not perfect either. And most importantly, grow up and take responsibility when you make mistakes. It's the only way to truly learn and improve. Anyway, that's all for today's rant. Thanks for listening, and as always, I'm Moore's October, signing off. Have a great one, and goodbye.